Alright, now let's start our speaking test. Part 1, the examiner asked the candidate about him or herself, his or her home, work or studies, and other familiar topics. Alright, so you know about that, right? Okay, let's try to do it. Okay, what's your name? May I see your identity card, please? Yeah, of course you have. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yes, thank you. Yeah? So when I ask for the identity card, you have to give it to me. And then I will check and I give it back to you. Thank you. Alright, now let's talk about future. Okay? What job would you like to have 10 years from now and why?
I would like to be a businessman because it have high salary and do not require you many experience of work. Like you have to do selling for 5 years to be like master something like that. You can start from the beginning and to grow yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, how useful will English be for your future? Why? Why not?
Like two countries right now growing really fast is USA and Chinese. So we have been affected by the language they use on the world. So when you want to come like visiting USA, English is a language that very helpful for you for in the future. That's all.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Well, I think you should come and sit here. Yeah, okay, sit there. Alright, next. How much traveling do you hope to do in the future? Why not?
I want to travel to 5 countries. First is USA. Second is British. Third is Chinese. Fourth is Spanish. And the last one is Canada. Because first is USA. They have a lot of famous like views. First, like Liberty, the Statue of Liberty, and the Times Square. Secondly, Chinese. I like to visit Chinese because I want to know more about the food,
Stop.
culture, and people there. Third is, like I mentioned, is
Okay, thank you. How do you think your life will change in the future? Why not?
it's like it's gonna change to the direction that I have been drawn. Like I want to be a businessman, so right now I'm start to learning about finance or about more about how we do sales to our customer, how you start your own company, and many things about businesses.
Okay, thank you. You can take your book for part 2. Yeah, and a pencil as well. And a piece of paper if you have. Okay, thank you. Page 31. Okay? So describe a book that you enjoyed reading because you had to think a lot. Now you have 1 minute to prepare. And then you're gonna have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Alright? Someone please help him to check the time. Help him to check the time, 1 minute. Ngọc Anh, can you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, go. Check. Yeah? Okay, go. You have 1 minute, so you can write anything you want in your piece of paper to answer those questions or something, whatever. Yes, time's up. Okay, now you can start talking. Please help him to check the time as well. From 1 to 2 minutes only, okay? Maximum 2 minutes. Okay? Yeah, ready? Okay, you can go.
The book I enjoy reading while in my free time was the advanced math book. The purpose why reading it because I was like know more about math, mostly advancing myself to improve my skills in math. Book is kind of boring, but if you have the interest of it, it will make you feel really interesting, exciting while you studying advanced math. Mostly you can get like smarter, like that. And the main purpose of studying advanced math is I want to be a businessman. Like every rich man in the world, like they were smart at math. So studying math is one of the best way to become rich.
Finish?
Yeah, finish.
1 minute and 6 seconds. It's quite alright, but a little bit short. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, you can close the book. Yeah, leave it there. Leave it right there. Okay, now let's move on to part 3. Let's talk about children and reading. What are the most popular types of children's books in your country?
I think it's like the old story, fairy tales, something like that. Because in our country, just not that about the reading is not too like popular. Kids used to play at school or home with their iPad or phone, maybe laptop if they have it.
Go on.
So they don't usually spend much time reading.
Okay. What are the benefits of parents reading books to their children?
I think there's two main benefits, like you inspiring your children to read and encourage them to study more what they want to be or how much they want to go with books. And the second then is like if you do like that, they will, like I said, they encourage to do that. Children use like their parents as a mirror. They study from their parents' activities or maybe feelings, something like that.
Okay. Should parents always let children choose the books they read?
Yes, because everyone have their own feelings and own purpose of doing something. So we have to encourage them to do what they want or become what they like to
Okay. Now let's talk about electronic books. How popular are electronic books are in your country?
Like I said, is the internet growing in my country is very high. It's become very popular now. So most people are used to use the internet to read, to watch, or maybe study too. Like that.
What are the advantages of parents reading electronic books compared to printed books?
It's like I think there's only one advantage is it still have the same advantages of reading the printed book, but like I think electronic book is maybe faster because we use the electronic gauge a lot. We spend a lot of time using it, so we can control it better instead of using printed book. It's kind of like when you open this, take a lot of time, or maybe where you find it on the book sale, it take you a lot of time.
Okay. Will electronic books ever completely replace printed books in the future?
I think it wouldn't be replaces because printed book is like still remain and is like containing the word of the writer. So I think in the future the printed book will not be replaced by the electronic books. Even though the internet is growing increasingly high, but like it's not really matter to replace the printed book.
Okay, thank you. So that's it. That is the end of our speaking test. All right, thank you. Yeah, okay, you can get back to your seat. All right, so that's just one example. All right, so see, he had just finished the speaking test. So basically, you will have 3 parts in the speaking test. Part 1, that is personal question. Okay, they ask about you, not some kind of general question. Remember about that. Yeah. So every time they ask those kind of things, you have to answer for your case only, not for kind of general cases. You understand? So that's why when they say that, okay, how useful will English be for your future? So that is for your future, not some other people's future. Or how much traveling do you hope to do in the future? That is for you only, not about many other young people or someone like that. Yeah? So remember that. Keep that in mind. And part 2, as you know, they will give you kind of a card and then you will read. But please remember, never write anything on the card. Never write anything on the card because after the test, they will take it back. Okay? So they will give you a pencil and they will give you a piece of paper. So please note everything you want on a piece of paper, not on the card. Okay? Because I have seen so many people just write anything or everything on the card. I don't know why, but don't do that anymore. Got it? Okay, for speaking part 3, that is some kind of general question. Yeah, so this you have to do this kind of very hard part. Okay, that means that they want to test everything you have. So they will try to test all kind of the tenses. Maybe do you know how to use all of tenses and all of the kind of clauses, all of phrases. So they try to test everything you have. Okay, so you need to speak and you have to think, come up with some ideas, and you have to express the ideas. You have to give some examples. You have to give some explanation. Everything. Okay, so that means that you have to answer quite a lot in part 3. Part 1 may be a little bit short, but part 3 you can speak as much as possible. Of course, you must just focus on answering the main question. Of course, okay. Don't just talk about everything. But of course, you cannot just say only a few words a couple, like 1 or 2 sentences. I don't think that's acceptable. Okay. Okay, for Munduk's part, I think he did it quite well. Okay, he understood all of the questions, I think, and he also knew how to answer those questions. Only something Munduk needs to improve. Okay, number 1, of course, is grammar. You still make a lot of grammar mistakes. Okay, but of course at this level, that's very normal. Okay, you need time. You just need to practice daily and keep on reading, keep on listening, keep on improving every single day, just to make sure that your grammar will be much better. Okay. Also pronunciation, you still make a lot of mistakes there. Fluency, sometimes it's quite good, but you still got stuck in quite a lot. Okay, so that may get a low point because of that. Okay, so when you don't know what to say, you need to think of something. Sometimes you can stop somewhere here and there. It doesn't really matter because it's very natural for people to stop talking. Right? It's very normal. Even native people, they have to think. It's just when you do like me, sometimes we get stuck. Okay, we can think of a little bit, but don't just stop there for too long. If you stop like for 5 or 10 seconds, you totally ruin your mark. You understand? Don't stop for 5 to 10 seconds. At least you have to say something in between. For example, you don't know what to say and you say, oh my God, I forgot. Oh my God, what a word. I think it should be like this. At least you have something to say. You don't just stop and be quiet for 5 to 10 seconds. You understand? Yeah? Yeah, just like, well, let me think. Oh, I think it's really hard. Okay? So at least you can buy some time. You have more time by doing that. Okay? But if you keep quiet for 10 seconds and they don't know whether you have finished or not, they don't know whether they should continue with the next question or not, okay? And that may affect your points negatively. Remember that. Okay? And for part 2, try to come up with more ideas, try to think more. Yeah? And here I want to remind you about the topic here. When they say describe a book that you enjoy reading because you had to think a lot. Okay? The good thing here is that he understands the question and then he used the simple past tense, right? But he kind of failed in terms of explaining why he enjoyed reading the book, because here they say that because you had to think a lot. Because you had to think a lot about that book, or that book made you think too much, think a lot about that one. So he failed because he didn't really mention why he had to think too much about that. What happened from the book? Something like that. You understand what I mean? So be very careful with the main questions there. Describe a book, not just any random book, but the book, first of all, it makes you enjoy reading, and number 2, you had to think a lot. You think a lot about what? About all the pictures there, you had to think a lot about the content there, or you had to think about some characters there, or why? Or because they have so many useful lessons, or they have so many reasons, or have so many things, blah blah, and you have to mention about that. Okay? So that's the main question. And the next one, they say you should say what this book was, why you decided to read it, what reading this book make you think about, and explain why you enjoy reading this book. This one, actually, you don't really have to answer all of these 4 questions. You can either answer them or not. Doesn't really matter. But the main questions you have to answer carefully, in details. Okay? And remember the other questions there, like what this book was and why you decided to read it. Those questions are just there to support you. They are there to help you to give more ideas, so you know what you have to say. You understand what I mean? If you don't answer all of those questions, it's fine. But normally when you answer the main question, I'm sure at least you have to answer like 2 or 3 of them for sure. Because you cannot just answer the main question, without saying what that book was, right? Yeah. So and here, like why what reading this book make you think about? You have to answer that. Why? Because here from the main topic, they ask because you had to think a lot. So anyway, you have to answer those things. Got it? Okay, so you have to answer like describe a book that you enjoy reading, and also why you have to think a lot. What makes you think a lot? If you cannot answer that, then maybe it's not very complete. Okay, so that's one thing, and also like about a timeline, maybe 1 minute is quite okay. From 1 to 2 minutes is quite alright, but maybe too short. Maybe just think about something else. Yeah, remember who, what, where, when, why, how, those things. So that will help you to answer a little bit longer. Yeah. All right. Now part 3, I think he understood all of the questions there. What are the most popular types of children's book in your country? Yeah, it's quite alright. It's quite alright. Yeah. So at this level, it's quite alright, acceptable with that. Okay. Okay. So for this, he will get something like maybe maybe 5 points, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, who's next? Who's next? Yeah, you can write your points there, yeah? But I need a volunteer here, guys. Who wants to go next? What? I will call randomly. How do you want to do it? Yes or no? Anyway, all of you have to do it. Just who will go first. I don't care. I just let you choose, okay? You do you want to go? Yeah? Okay, come. Alright, take a seat. Alright, we can skip the part asking for her name and thing. Okay, let's move on to part 1. Okay. Oh, and one more thing, Minh, please keep eye contact. Okay, it's really important. No, you don't stare at me. Keep eye contact. No, this doesn't mean that you have to stare at me, look at me like this. No, don't do that. But you talk, and then sometimes you have to look at the examiner. But when you think, yes, you can look up or down, but sometimes you have to look at the examiner for sure. Okay, don't just look somewhere and you never look at your examiner. Okay, that's not a good strategy. Okay, you need to look at him sometimes, at least. Okay, now, Như, what job would you like to have 10 years from now? Why?
10 years from now, I want to be a lawyer because it's my dream job when I was young.
Okay, how useful will English be for your future? Why not?
Because I want to be a lawyer at the other country, so my English should be important for me in future.
Mm-hmm. How much traveling do you hope to do in the future? Why not?
I hope to travel 3 countries. First is Japan. Second is USA, and third is maybe Thailand, because Japan is the country that I want to travel most because my aunt is live up there, and every week she also call me and talk about Japan, so I want to go to Japan once a while.
Okay. How do you think your life will change in the future? Why not?
I think it depends on me. If I will have hard working and try to study, maybe I will be a famous lawyer. Or if now I don't study and I have a bad knowledge
Okay, thank you. And now you can take your book. And your pencil as well. Thank you. Page 31. Okay, you can have a look at speaking part. Yeah? Describe a book that you enjoy reading because you had to think a lot. Now you have 1 minute to prepare. Ngọc Anh, you can help her to check the time. Yes, go. Okay. Okay, now you can speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Yeah, you can start.
The book that actually I don't want to read book, but I read novel. So the novel that I really like is Harry Potter series, and I read it when I was a child until now. And for 10 years I read it 3 times. So I read it because when I was young, my uncle told me about that story about the main character is Harry Potter, and I feel like it's interesting and I want to read it. And the reason that I like to read this novel because it has many plot twists that I didn't know or didn't think about that. Yeah, and let me remember, like some character is at least bad, but until the life, they are so protecting all characters. So yeah, that's the book that I really no, that's the novel that I really enjoy.
Time, okay. 1 minute and 13 seconds. Okay, it's not that bad. Okay, not that bad. Okay, I will help you to improve it later on. I will tell you about that. Okay, now let's move on to part 3. Let's talk about children and reading. Okay. Of course, normally after speaking part 2, the examiners may ask you some short questions, like do you maybe like something like do you still like reading that book, or do you think that you will recommend that book to someone else, something like that, and you just say yes or no, I think so. Okay, yes, I think so, no, I don't think so, something like that. All right, now let's move on to part 3. Let's talk about children and reading. What are the most popular types of children's books in your country?
On my view, I don't know because there are children that just in my neighborhood. I just saw them at home and watch them with their iPad or do something on the internet. I didn't see them read some kind of book.
Okay. What are the benefits of parents reading books to their children?
Some benefit like they can make their children like book and have the learn many skill about from that book, and they can make their children don't watch too much the iPad or television to make their eyes hurt.
Okay. Should parents always let children choose the books they read?
children want to read, because some kind of book that children mustn't read. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now let's talk about electronic books. How popular are electronic books in your country?
I'm not sure about in my country, but in my class, I have many some classmates read book, but they also read electric book because it's convenient to bring to school, not to just them the heavy book in the bag.
Okay. What are the advantages of parents reading electronic books compared to printed books?
I don't know, but I think, let me see. I just know electric book is more book, and it's not spend much money to read it. Yeah, and it's more convenient than book.
Okay, will electronic books ever completely replace printed books in the future?
Maybe, because now the world, the country is developed, and use electric book is something more people choose to use that, and use the book. The real book, the printed book is not convenient, and it's maybe heavy in your bag, something like that.
Okay, thank you very much. So that's it. That is the end of your speaking time. Yeah, you can get back. Okay, so for speaking part 1, I think that you did quite well. Yeah. You already answered all of the questions. You understood all of the questions. You answered them quite well. Only one question, I don't know why. The third one, how much traveling do you hope to do in the future? Just the same as Minh Đức, both of you just say that, okay, you hope to go to Japan or USA or somewhere, blah, blah. That's not the idea of the question. They just say, how much traveling do you hope to do in the future? You just say that you want to do a lot or not much traveling. And then something like Japan or the USA or Thailand or anywhere, just like some examples. If you said, well, I hope that I can travel a lot to many different countries in the world, and then you can say, for example, I would like to go to, or I would like to visit the USA or Thailand or Japan because of this or that, okay? But the main question is, how much traveling do you hope to do in the future? A lot or not much? That's the main question. You understand? They didn't ask like, okay, where would you go, or where will you go in the future? Okay, got it? How do you think your life will change in the future? Yeah, okay, that's really good. Part 2, you also answered the question. You did quite well. The only problem you had was that you make a lot of mistakes in terms of the tenses again. I know that you knew you had to use the simple past tense, right? But still you didn't use that. You thought you were using it, but actually it wasn't. Okay, you didn't use. For example, like you had to say I read, not I read, because when you say I read, that means that in the present. Okay, yeah, be very careful with that. You already answered all of the questions there. You used all of the 4 questions here, 4 small questions here to support you. You answered something like what this book was and why you decided to read it. What reading this book made you think about and explain why you're reading the book. Okay, it's quite alright. It's quite alright. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, it's quite alright. I really want to hear something more about, like, because that book make you think a lot about what. You know, I want to hear that. Nobody told me that. Okay, you have to give me something. Okay. And that is the point we want. Yeah, because you said that, okay, you read Harry Potter a lot, right? You read Harry Potter a lot, and what made you feel so interested in that book? Because of the character, because of the situation, or because of what? And it made you, okay, you had to keep thinking about the book, okay? You had to keep thinking about the book because the character was that, or because the content was like that, because you have to imagine a lot, or you were so shocked, or you were so surprised because of this or that. Okay, tell me something like that. Okay? So that's why, because you couldn't do it, normally you just answer that kind of generally, so that's why you could only speak about that within 1 minute and 13 seconds. If you can, tell me a little bit more, okay, why that book, like the Harry Potter, why you had to think so much about that one, and you keep thinking about it. Why is that? Okay, you talk a little bit more about the detail of the book, much better. Okay. And also, if you run out of idea, then just remember who, what, where, when, why, how. And also, maybe you can try to reduce the speed a little bit. Okay? So maybe if you speak a little bit slower, then maybe you can expand the time a little bit longer. Okay? Yeah. So just think about that. Okay? Speaking part 3, I think some questions you did well, but some you didn't. Okay? Maybe because you didn't have any idea about that one. Okay, you don't know, okay, how to say about it. So that's why you ran out of ideas. I know normally that's the main purpose of speaking part 3. Normally they ask something very strange or something you don't know how to answer them. They just want to see, or they want to, to see like how you deal with that. Okay? That you want to say, okay, now something you are unfamiliar with, or you don't know anything about it, or you don't know what to say about it. Okay, so in that case, so how can you use your English? Okay? For sure, when you do the speaking test, you will normally face with some questions, especially in speaking part 3, you normally may face with some questions very strange, and you have no idea what is going on there. Okay? So in that case, remember, they are not testing your knowledge or your understanding in that particular area. They just want to test your English skills only. Maybe that can be right or wrong. It doesn't really matter. They don't care about whether what you are saying is right or wrong. They don't care. They just care about your English only. Okay? How you perform or how you express your feeling or idea. That's all. Okay? Your fluency was good, yeah. You still make a lot of grammatical mistakes. Okay, that's what you really have to improve a lot. Yeah, so you make a lot of mistakes there. Also in your writing also, so you need to improve a lot there. Yeah, work on that. So maybe you will get somewhere like 5.5 to 5.75. Of course, normally when they give you the point, they will give you like 5.5 or 6, not 5.75. Okay, but I just say somewhere in between. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Maybe we will take a short break, yeah, for 5 or 10 minutes, and then we continue. Okay. Yeah. Okay, who's next? Who's next? Anyone who's confident enough? That come here. Anna, yeah, Quỳnh Hương, yeah, okay, come. Yes, why not? Because yeah, all of you have to do anyway, so doesn't matter who comes first. All right, now let's talk about the future. What job would you like to have 10 years from now and why?
In futures, I would like to be a teacher or an event planner. I'm not sure what one I would choose. I would like to be a teacher because I like to teach everyone, especially children. And event planner is because I want to. I would like to take part in a lot of activity, and I also love to celebrate all the events for my school.
How useful will English be for your future? Why not?
For me, I think English is very essential because I want to go to anywhere in the world. I want to go to study abroad too. So English is one of the most important element that I need to have, and it will make me study easily when I go to another country.
How much traveling do you hope to do in the future? Why not?
I would like to go to as of countries as possible as I can. So in the future, as I have more opportunities, I will travel a lot because I would like to explore the new things, eat a lot of delicious foods.
How do you think your life will change in the future? Why not?
When I pass my favorite school in high school, I think my life will change a lot because in here I can have more opportunities to challenge myself and try hard to learn.
Okay. All right, let's move on to part 2. You can take your book with you, yeah. All right, now you have 1 minute to prepare for part 2. Okay, Ngọc Anh, you can go, yeah. Yeah? Okay. Now you can do it, yeah. Okay, check the time. Okay, go.
I would like to try the book that I really enjoyed to read because it's made me think a lot. This is a Vietnamese book, and I can translate it for you. Like there was a love story belong to author Liên Hệ. I really like this. I really like this book because I love Liên Hệ story. And when I was in grade 8, I come to the bookstore and got this book. The reason why I decided to read this book is the main story make me feel really excited. It's it's told about the relationship between three young people, and they love, and they don't know to choose about love or friend relationship. So it has had a lot of detail that make me think a lot. Like the ending of the book, it's talk about ending of the book. They don't know to choose love or friends, so they have to. The author make me think a lot. Like when the book ends, I think he feel guilty about his his behavior, or the girls of the book think that she's being true, that he choose the good people, a good person. So that's why I really enjoy reading this book.
Okay, thank you. Time. Okay, 1 minute and 52 seconds. Okay, time is good. So, would you recommend that book to someone else?
Yes, because now in November they will change this book to movie.
Okay, good. All right, now let's talk about children and reading. What are the most popular types of children's books in your country?
In my country, I think teenagers or people who like to read like novel or some kind like love story, because I don't see my because around me I see my friends read about an economic book kind of.
What are the benefits of parents reading books to their children?
I think there's a lot of advantages that the parents read books, because when the children see their parents read books, they will think read books is really good, and they will do the same thing like them, and this will also encourage the children to read more, learn more, instead of playing games.
Should parents always let children choose the books they read?
Yes, especially for the young children, baby like that, because parents should let them choose their book, but they also need to limit the what kind of books also.
Okay, let's talk about electronic books. How popular are electronic books in your country?
In my country, I think electrical book is not really popular, because they sell printed book everywhere, and I'm not saying doesn't see people use electrical books like Kindle, because they would like to read the real book. They love it.
What are the advantages of parents reading electronic books compared to printed books?
Okay, I skip this.
What are the advantages of parents reading electronic books compared to printed books?
When they read electronic book, it is very convenient, and it's also save time to not to go to the bookshop to choose your book, and but I think printed book is also really suitable to them, because they like to touch the real book, and they love the smell of this book.
Will electronic books ever completely replace printed books in the future?
No, I think will not completely replace, but in the future it may replace a lot, because it's save money. You just need to buy a tablet, and you pay money for the books you want to read, and you can hand it everywhere you come. It's also very convenient.
Okay, thank you. So that is the end of your speaking test. Okay, thank you. You can get back down. Yeah, I think you did well. Yes, you're right. So part 1 you did the best there. Part 2 at the beginning it was good, but you ran out of ideas at the end, so you had to stop too much. So that may affect your points as well. That definitely affect your points. Okay, but yeah, you did tell me a good story. Okay, a kind of good book. You already explained to me why you had to think so much about that one. I think that was a good one. It's good, except that you had to stop quite a lot at the end. For part 3, I think the first 2 questions you did great. Oh no, number 1 you make some mistakes there, because number 1 they asked what are the most popular types of children's books in your country, right? And you talk about teenager. Children and teenagers are different. Okay. Yeah, the other 2 were good. The next one are okay. Okay, you understood all the questions. You just asked me to repeat only one question. Okay, question number 5, right? What are the advantages of parents reading electronic books compared to printed books? But when you understand that, you could deliver a very good answer. So it's okay. So I think that your fluency was good. Okay, and pronunciation was also good. Of course, you still make some mistakes here and there, but it's acceptable. Grammar, your grammar was also good, but you still make a lot of mistakes. Some kind of mistakes here and there, but it was okay, acceptable. So I think for this one, you get a 6. Okay, who's next? Who's next? Of course, this our class is IELTS band 5 to 6.5, so your points should be somewhere from 5 to 6.5 normally. Okay, so that makes sense. If you got lower than that, and that makes no sense. You have to work hard. Okay. Okay, who's next? Who's next? My God. We only have, I don't think we have enough time for one person, because now it's 4:50, right? We only have 10 minutes left, 9 minutes left, so it's not enough. So probably we need to continue next time, but for now, okay, so 3 of our friends have finished their speaking test. Now, do you have any questions? Did you learn anything useful today? Yeah? Yeah, any questions? Anything? Anything is unclear? And guys, of course, after this test, you can always, when you come home, you can always just practice again, okay? Just ask these questions for yourself and then to try to answer them again, yeah? Why not, right? Because for sure, when you do a lot of speaking tests, you might see or you might face these questions again and again, because normally they just ask something like this. So part 1, personal questions, they just ask about your friends, your family, your study, your work, something like that. It's very normal. Oh, here they said that the examiner asked the candidates about him or herself, his or her home, work or studies, and other familiar topics. So it's not very strange here. And part 2, also something very familiar with you. You just talk maybe about a book, maybe a movie, or your teacher, your friend, a city, something like that. Not so hard. But part 3, for sure, they will ask something. Sometimes it may be very strange. Okay, to be ready for that. So remember, for part 3, they ask some general questions, and what you have to do, is you answer questions based and you use some words like people or they or we, something like that, or you. Okay, you don't answer this one personally or these questions personally. And also sometimes you might face some kind of unfamiliar questions, so they just want to test how you deal with them if you don't know or you have no idea or have no knowledge about that. Okay, any questions? Anything? Nothing? Okay, now let's do something together. What job would you like to have 10 years from now? Okay, Ngọc Anh, tell me.
Maybe 10 years from now, I will do chuyên viên em chưa biết chọn nghề gì thì ý thì mình phải có định hướng mình mới trả lời được chứ vậy.
Yes, even even you have no idea what you're gonna do in the next 10 years, but at least you have to say something. Just say something. Okay, now guys, okay, good one. That's a very good one. Now, what will happen if you have no idea about what you're going to do in the next 10 years, but the examiner still asks you something like that? So how can you answer this? How? What? Yeah, if the examiner asks you, what job would you like to have 10 years from now? And you have no idea, you don't know what you're going to do. You haven't thought about that yet, right? It's very normal, very common. So, how can you answer this? If you have no idea, or you haven't decided yet, so how can you answer this? How? Hmm?
I don't have any choice or decisions for future. In the future.
Yeah, yes, you can say something like that. Yes. Two ways. Number one, you just imagine about it. You just come up with something. Maybe sometimes you lie about something in the exam, okay? Maybe you don't want to be an astronaut, for example, but just to make it easy, you just say, oh, I want to be an astronaut, just to make things easy, okay? That's number one way. And the other way is you just tell the truth that, okay, I have no idea. I don't know what I'm going to do in the future. For now, I just want to study. I just want to focus on my study. I might be interested in being a doctor, a teacher, a gamer, something like that. But I'm not so sure. Okay, you can say something like that. But that is still an answer. You understand what I mean? That is still an answer. You just tell the truth. You just tell what you're thinking. You just say that you have no idea. Oh, I have no idea what I'm going to do in the next 10 years. I haven't thought about that yet. Because for now, for me, right now, studying is the most important thing. Okay, I just want to focus on that, and I don't know, and then we'll see. Maybe, yeah. And then you say, well, a lot of things may change in the future, and may come up with something new, and I just want to finish high school first, and then I may start thinking about that. Okay, that's also an answer. So answering these questions doesn't mean that you have to say about any particular job you want to do in the next 10 years. Okay? Thi Nga, how useful will English be for your future? Why not?
I think English will be useful in my future because it is a language of international business and it's widely spoken all around the world. Being good at English helps me to easy to communication with foreigners and I can easily read or listen to them in the language that I know.
Okay, good one. Just be careful with grammar, like to communicate, not to communication. Okay, to communicate with people, not to communication with people. Ơi Thư, how much traveling do you hope to do in the future? Why not?
I want to travel as much as possible because taking
parents learn or exchange about the culture, food, or the food in that country.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hương, how do you think your life will change in the future? Why not?
Maybe I need to learn a new language like English or international languages. If I have some language, I can study from other country, like study abroad or do something in that country.
Okay, not bad. Okay. Yeah, quite good. Okay. Huy, what are the most popular types of children's books in your country? What are the most popular types of children's books in your country?
I think the most popular type of children's book is story tell. Is many story like Cam and fairy tale.
That's all? Oh my God! You have to explain why?
Because in that story have many traditional many country in a different country and they're just a kid, they want something colorful and easy to understand. That story.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. At least something like that. Okay. You have to mention. You can mention some types of books already, but you have to explain why. Okay. Always explain why, or you might come up with some examples and some results or something. Yeah. Okay. So that's the way. All right, guys. That's it for our lesson today.